this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing you the project recipe for our Vivid Melodies collection today. And our Vivid Melodies collection is one that comes in several different colors. There are 4 different colors actually, and I will be more than happy to share with you or show you those different sets at the end of this video, so stay tuned, and at the end of the video I will go ahead and share those with you. Today we're going to be using the Capri blue set, and I will also share with you the set that's in the gold, and I'm failing to remember the name of the yellow that they use, but it's very pretty, and I already have that one put together, so I can show you what it looks like as soon as this video is, or this one is put together. Then I'll show you that one. We are going to be using one of the newest. I don't think it's the newest, but it is one of the newest Boilermaker cartridges that Creative Memories has come out with. It's called the Sunshine Arches Boilermaker cartridge, and it makes a very cute sort of sunshiny design, as you can see right here along the edge. And we're just going to have some fun today. This one goes together really fast, so I hope that you'll enjoy it. Let me go ahead and scoot these aside. The embellishments that go along with this are just gorgeous. You can see how beautiful that flower is, and it perfectly matches the flower that is on the paper that matches in the collection. So I love that about Creative Memories things. You never have to worry about them going together or matching because they do match perfectly. We are going to need our trimmer first off, so keep that handy, but I just wanted to run through the papers that I'm going to be using with you today. I'm going to be using this particular one with the squares, kind of squarish design on it. These are going to be our base pages. And then I'm going to be using this one that has more of a scrolly leaf. And I'm going to use the plaid, of course, which is such a brilliant blue plaid. And then this one with the small little blue flowers we're also going to use. So as you can see, this one has 3 strips that look like, it looks like there's 3 strips that go across it, and then some embellishing and some matting that goes on it. You're going to be surprised at how quickly this one comes together. So we're going to start. I'm going to set my base pages aside for just a second. We'll get back to those in a minute. I'm going to start with this small blue flowered print, and I'm going to grab my trimmer here real quick. Okay, and so we're going to cut this one, as you can see, and this one's going to be 3.5 by 11. We need 2 pieces that are 3.5 by 11. So I'm going to measure to the 3.5 mark, 3.5 grid line on the left here. We're going to go 3.5 and 3.5, and then I'm going to stack those. And we'll go ahead and cut 1 inch off for the 11 inches. So I'm just going to measure to the 1 inch mark, which is this first bold line beyond the measuring bar. And we'll take 1 inch off of that paper and set that aside. And then set those over here because we're good to go with those. Then I need 2 1/2-inch strips. So I'm just going to push my paper to the very first grid line right here, that we know that that's 1/2 inch. So we're going to go on 1/2 inch. I need 2 of those, so we're going to go another 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to stack those and take 1 inch off of each of those. And I'm just using the bottom of my trimmer because it's easier for me than reaching way up to the top. Not that that's super far or anything, but you know. just easy peasy. All right, so there we've got those two pieces, a couple more little scraps. Then this last piece is going to be 4 inches wide, and we need to turn that one into mats for our photos. So I'm just going to swing my arm out, turn it horizontally, and cut at 6 inches. So we have 2 mats. Set those aside. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and grab my plaid paper. And my plaid paper I'm just cutting in half. So see what I mean about the beautiful flowers and how the embellishments just match so gorgeously. Here's that flower embellishment again. You can see it came right off of and matches this page. It's just perfect. But I am going to use the plaid side today. So I'm going to go ahead and place my paper at the 6-inch mark up here. And we're going to cut right down through the middle. So I have 2 6-inch by 12-inch pieces. That's the blue right here. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab this smaller printed blue, and we're going to cut 2 strips that are 2 by 12. And I think I want to go ahead and make those, yeah, I want my strips to go and follow the line that it's a very small line, but there is a line pattern that goes across horizontally. So that's what I want. So I'm going to turn my paper so that as I cut, those strips will stay horizontal on my page. So my lines are going up and down like this. So I've got 1 2-inch strip, and another 2 by 12-inch strip. And we're going to be punching the ends of those. Then I'm going to cut a piece at 4 inches. So measuring out here to the 4-inch mark. Going to turn this page or this piece and cut 2 4-inch squares. So there's 1, and here's 2, and actually we have 3 4-inch squares, but I think this one's going to be extra. We'll just set it over here for now. We'll set them all together. And then this extra little piece right here, we're going to turn horizontally and cut 2 more mats in it. So 6 by 4 for 2 more long mats. Okay. All right, so we have all of our pieces cut now, but now we need to do some punching. So get your border maker system out, and we are going to punch the ends. I'm just going to move my instructions out of the way so that I have a little more space. We're going to punch just one end of each of these blue strips, the smaller blue strips. And I'm just going to go ahead and line it up at each end of my holder for the border maker system, so that I can just punch both of them at the same time. So very carefully lower that arm so that your paper doesn't shift. Mine did move slightly, so I'm just going to adjust it. You want to make sure it's all the way out in this corner, all the way out to the end of the guide. And then we're going to very carefully just punch once through the end of that paper, just like so. Now we're going to take those strips out, and we're going to take each one of these pieces that we've now cut in half, these plaid pieces. We're going to put one of them up here on this end and one of them down here at this end. They don't have to match. Like if you were slightly off or something like that and your pattern doesn't match, it's okay. I'm just going to hold them with my right thumb right here on the seam where the 2 pages come together. I'm just going to stabilize them and hold them with my finger so that they stay put. And I'm going to put that magnet arm down, and then it will hold them. Okay, now I just need to do one pass down both of these pieces as if they were just one piece. My paper keeps getting kind of hung up in there. All right, there we go. Let me get rid of the punched ends. All right, now we are good to go and ready to assemble this page. See how fast this is going together? Very, very quick. So those are extra. I'm just going to scoot them out of the way. And I'm going to gather my cut pieces so that I have room to put my base pieces down. All right. So here we have our base pieces. I'm going to scoot this out of the way. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these plaid pieces, and they are going to go down about, let's see, about 1.5 inches from the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to leave those up there. I'm going to put my adhesive down each side of these. Tiny bit in the middle. All right. So if you have a grid that you're working on, you can put your paper on the grid if it helps you to guesstimate about 1.5 inches from the bottom. That's where we want our paper to go. So edge to edge, 1.5 inches from the bottom down here, and just go ahead and push it down. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with this piece. And if it makes you feel better, I would go ahead and put these two pieces together, and then that way you can make sure that both of these papers are at the same level. If you didn't measure, this is very helpful to go ahead and put them together like that. All right. Now, given that we have two sides to this paper, you might feel like you want to turn it over and use the back. That is an option. Or you can use the front, depending on which one you want. But we're going to add adhesive to this piece and then adhere it to the center of our plaid piece. See how it just overlaps it perfectly? So I'm going to go ahead and use the darker side, because I feel like when you use darker papers on the back, it can sometimes have the same effect as using like a black scrapbook page where the colors just seem to jump off so much nicer. So I'm just going to keep that dark side and kind of the dark theme going there. Okay, so matching, I always match up the punched area and then just make sure that this is flush down here and you are good to smooth it down. All right, so that's part is done. Now what we'll do is go ahead and take each one of these pieces and put some adhesive on the back of the wide piece with a small printed blue flower. this piece goes right on top, flush with the center. And it's important that you make it flush with the center here because it's not going to go all the way to the first point on your punched sun. So make it flush with the center and you'll be fine. Okay, one more. All right, and then each of these are going to go down here at the bottom, which is kind of creates a cool effect to do it this way because it saves you paper, number one, but it still gives the effect of making the person who's looking at the page, letting the viewer think that you have a full sheet of this white paper with the small blue flowers underneath your plaid that's going on top. But in actuality, we made mats to go on top with the rest of that paper. So we've utilized it still, but we've gotten more use out of it than we otherwise would have. Okay, so right on the edge and right at the edge of the paper so that it goes directly across. All right, now we're going to grab our mats that we have set aside over here and lay those out. All right, so we've got this lighter, or you could flip it over if you want more diversity. You could flip that over. We've got that square goes there. This square goes here. Again here. You know what? I'm doing this wrong. Bear with me. I'm doing it wrong. Okay, so this square goes down here like so. This square goes up here like so. That makes more sense to me. All right. Now these are going to be at the same level at the top. And I'm going to put mine down using my repositionable adhesive right in the center so that way I can move them if I decide I want a vertical photo here rather than a horizontal photo. And I'm just going to place that like so. This one's going to be roughly a 1/2 inch, maybe more like 3/8 of an inch. Yeah, I would just center it between kind of the flat edge over here and this mat that's on the left. And then same thing for here. Let's see if that works. If we make our edges work over here, I may need to raise that up just a little bit because that's going to be too far down. Again, another reason why it's good to use temporary adhesive for that. All right, so there's that. Let's do this side real quick. Just get those put on, and I want it to be the same height as this side, provided that I'm going to use horizontal photos for all of that. So roughly 1/4 of an inch between the base of that mat and the top of the other mat. Try and keep your margins all the same. So whatever you have between these two and these two, make sure that that's roughly the same distance between those two. All right, so now we can add some embellishments. And there's a couple, so there's several beautiful embellishments that this collection comes with. And depending on what you're using the page for may determine what you choose to use. But they are all very, very pretty. And especially these blue flowers, I just love them. I think they're darling and very colorful. And I like the words today and memories. So I think I may put today down here, although it's a little harder to see on the dark on dark. Could do that, or we could put today here and put memories down here, which I kind of like better because I feel like it pops a little bit more that way. You can see it a little bit easier. And then the project recipe shows using one of the wreaths to, I don't know why that doesn't meet quite right there. Using one of these wreaths up here in this spot. I don't know if I kind of do like the green. The green sort of sets off the green in this print, or we could use this wreath, which is a little bit larger and certainly darker. We could use 2 of them, one on top of each other. I don't know. Don't know what I think about those. You could also certainly use these wreaths as frames for photos. So it just kind of depends on what you want to do with it. But I think I'm going to go with, I like the green. I like that it pulls out the green in the smaller paper, kind of brightens that up just a little bit. And I love this flower. So I may use that flower and a journal box, a journal circle over here, just to kind of balance that out a bit. I think that'll work nicely. Let me get some of this out of the way, and we'll go ahead and adhere these. All right, so I'm going to use my repositionable adhesive on these leaves, and I do want to go all the way around because I'm going to adhere this and then I'm going to cut it. So I want to make sure that it's even, and I want to make sure my pages are even. And then I'm going to go ahead and place this in such a way that I can cut it without causing too much drama, angst, or whatever. All right, so I'm going to stick that down. I'm also going to use this one, and I'm trying to decide if I want to do the white around it or blue, because the other side is almost white, but it's actually blue. Actually, maybe we'll do the blue because it kind of does pick up the background color and the color in the plaid that is the same. Loving the repositionable adhesive for these kinds of things again, because this has holes in it, but because I'm using the repositionable adhesive, I can put it on without fearing that it's going to come apart, or that I'm going to have a lot of adhesive showing through the design. All right, and then let's go ahead and get this adhered down. And today, and because I'm putting this up high on this mat, I could potentially put a photo below it. So it would just be narrower this way, which is fine. Be careful when you go to adhere these smaller embellishments with the letters. Some of them are very fragile, and just putting the pressure of the adhesive onto them, you can bend them. So just keep that in mind, and just be careful as you put them on so that you're not pulling them along with the adhesive. And then I'm just going to grab my foam squares to pop this flower up, because it will make such a nice addition to this corner down here. And we want it to have some emphasis. I'm going to grab my smaller ones and just add one to this leaf right here so that it will stay. And yes, you're saying, well, you glued that on there, but you only put it down with repositionable adhesive. I did, and you're right. If I want to switch it around when I finally have my photos, I still can. This will need to continue to be a horizontal photo, which is okay. And the rest of this won't matter too much. I can still adjust things if I need to adjust them. All right, so now we just need to cut this apart, and this layout will be all finished. So I'm just going to get my trimmer. I'm going to slide my layout right into my trimmer, and I'm going to line it up with my cutting line. And cut right through that embellishment so that it is nice and even and beautiful. And that layout is done. Isn't that pretty? I just love the blue. I think it's so pretty. The Capri blue. All right, let me show you the yellow also, because I think it's beautiful. So this is the gorgeous yellow of the Vivid Melodies, and I think this one is gorgeous as well. When you put, if you're feeling overwhelmed by the roses, let me just show you that as you put a photo on here in each of these are the photo sizes, 3.5 by 5.5 and 3.5 by 3.5. You can see how the photos on there will tone down so much of the vibrant roses that are on this page. And so it will make that brightness just a little bit more reserved, in case that's deterring you from this particular layout, or using these bright, beautiful flowered pages on your layouts. Let me show you what this looks like with the templates on this one as well, just to give you a rough idea. So you can see how it just lets the color highlight the photos, which is really nice. All right, let me go ahead and get the other colors so that you can see how beautiful they are. All right, so we have the green, which is lime tart. We have the yellow, which I just showed you, which is butterscotch. And we have jazzberry, which is a beautiful fuchsia, bright, hot pink, and which I'm sure will make a gorgeous layout as well, but I haven't done anything with the pink just yet. I'm kind of holding off maybe to do cards with them or something. These are absolutely beautiful collections, and I really do hope that you will take an interest in them and find some beautiful ways of using these in your albums or in your greeting cards that you're making. They really do add so much wonderful pop to your albums and to your pages and your beautiful photographs of loved ones. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I do hope that you are able to find time for many more creative moments. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I do hope that you're able to find many more creative moments. You have a great day.